The time now is 5:30, and I would like to go ahead and call to order. This is an Emergency Housing Commission meeting on February 5th, 2025. If we could go ahead and get a roll call, please.
Chairperson Davis,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Ezell,
Here.
Commissioner Souder,
Here.
Commissioner Thompson,
Here.
Commissioner Valone.
If we could, right now, if there's any communication outside of this case from the public or comments can be heard. Okay. If not, the reason we're here tonight on this emergency meeting is to get information about 1506 Carwell Lane. This property has not been maintained properly and has a major code violation. There are no smoke detectors, egress doors will not open, floors are falling in, unsanitary conditions, major plumbing and electrical issues. Some of the units are unfit for human habitation. The exterior also needs to be addressed. If we could hear from codes, Ms. Torrey, let us know what's going on with this.
So one of our code enforcement officers was called out on Monday due to them smelling raw sewage coming from the crawl space. With that being said, I went out with this code enforcement officer just to verify and look at the situation with him. When we were looking under the crawl space, indeed, the plumbing penetration pipes that should be connected to the sewer system were not connected, which is why there is human feces all under the crawl space. We went in this particular unit with this tenant because they were complaining about their toilet not working properly, etc. I'm not quite sure. I will say that this unit in particular, yes, there's issues that's due to lack of upkeep, maintenance. However, the tenants are responsible for a lot of it. That is probably the nastiest unit I've ever been in my entire time working here.
So to get an idea, how many units are in this building?
So I think it's split of 5 buildings. I want to say the 2 on the very end at the end of the road, there's 2 units per building, and the rest of them there is 4. I think that's how I had the layout. I think when I counted, there's 26 in total.
So this sewage issue is in one building that has how many units in it?
4.
So there's essentially 4 families affected.
I'm
That is
not
one
100% sure.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt. I was
Yeah,
just
no,
trying to
you're
get
fine.
trying to get in my mind a visual.
So we're all 26 of these owned by the one person?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why it's under the 1506.
Okay.
Okay.
You're right.
Sorry.
So that unit was disgusting. You've got animal feces everywhere. These dogs have been locked in here by themselves. Again, no fault of the property owner necessarily. That's more of a tenant thing. However, the conditions that they had in this house, you could barely get in due to the trash, the debris, the amount of things that piled up. They have a child. Like, to me, that was instant. I could have condemned it then. Try to give some grace and understand the situation. Apparently, there was other situations going on with that one quadplex in general. His mom lived next door. She hasn't had a working stove in 3 weeks. The stove that she had in that unit would shock her every time that she would utilize it. She has a hole underneath the refrigerator where the floor is falling in, and a lot of the units have the same issue. You've got other people on a different building are complaining about the same thing. It's his sisters, I'm not really sure. Talking about they don't have water turned on because every time their water's turned on, if they utilize anything, it just comes back up and it goes back into their unit. So there's definitely some major plumbing issues going on. So that was the root of being out there. So I came to the conclusion that obviously this is a problem. It's not just one unit. There's a lot going on. So myself, along with my code enforcement officers, and then also I had the fire marshal. I also had police out there just due to the circumstances. We all went out. I knocked on every tenant's door, and I talked to them. And I asked if everything was okay, if they've had any issues going on that I need to address. I've been called out here. I'm trying to make this one big thing. Some people were, no, like everything's fine. And then majority of them were, yes, there's issues going on. They did give me consent to kind of look and see. I have pictures just showing all the things that I found along with my notice to repair, clean up, or demolish paper. There's a lot. There's a lot.
Okay.
Are there tenants in every unit?
Yes, to my knowledge.
26 rented units.
Correct. And to my knowledge, there's a maintenance man that lives on site there. What that maintenance man does, I could not tell you.
And of course, on the property side of it, they don't know unless they're told, but there are times that inspections need to be done.
They, to my knowledge and again, you know what, I take everything with a grain of
Right.
salt, right? Because I've dealt with a lot of rental properties. I know how it can be. But when I have majority of this whole complex telling me that they'll tell this maintenance guy or whomever that they've got this issue going on, and they're waiting 2, 3, 4, 5 months for it to get half fixed, that's a problem. Like, they're telling you in advance, and it's not just one person that's having this issue, it's everybody.
All of them. Yeah, those are pretty major issues. That's like safety for everybody involved.
One lady told me that her sink won't drain, which, again, not the biggest deal, right? But it's because there's tree roots that are interfering with the plumbing pipes, or that's what she's been told. So is that the case for everybody? Like, I'm confused on why everybody's plumbing systems are messed up.
So how dangerous is it for these folks who, example, the raw sewage? I mean, that's flowing underneath the dwelling.
I mean, it's an EPA problem at this point. Like, I should have called EPA.
They don't need to, in my opinion, they probably don't need to be staying there. Because the continuance of using the commode and flushing and showering, it's just gonna make it worse.
Those people are not. Those in particular, right? So that's the only one that I know of that's not staying in there. They just called me out for the sole purpose of the issues, and then it just escalated from there. You've got some units. I walked in one unit. They don't have any overhead lights at all. You have wires hanging down, but there's no lights, and it's been like that apparently since they moved in. They use lamps to light their apartment.
And the wires are unprotected, just hanging.
Correct. There's holes in the floor in the kitchen.
So how many units total out of the 24 are in sub-code condition that need to be brought up immediately, do you think?
Ultimately, I mean, it needs to be addressed immediately, all of it, every single bit of it. However, the one that I'm concerned with the most, that I feel needs to be condemned until somebody can get in there and properly clean it, because it's horrendous. Again, I'm not blaming property owner necessarily.
Yeah.
That's tenant.
Is there a number for that particular one? Besides
Thank you.
1506?
Are any of these, is this address considered a nuisance to the city from
Yes.
calls? I gotten a
Yes.
little bit of information on that as well.
I want to say it's 1509C. I want to say that's the
1506 or 9?
1509C.
1509C.
Yeah, so when you pull it up on GIS, it's going to show you 1506 for the whole overview. But on each individual door, when you're going through, it's broken down.
And that's the one that was inhabitable just due
Yeah,
to.
it needs to be.
That's the, yeah.
If I heard,
1509C.
yes.
Yes, sir.
You're fine, yes. And if I heard you correct, the people in 1509C are moving out or already have moved out.
They're moving out,
Okay.
from what I've been told.
But they're currently habitating in that space.
No, they've
They're
been
not.
staying in Hickson. I guess they're coming down to get their things out. I didn't really understand the whole story. They said that they have not been living there. I know they are moving out. They're not living there, and I was told they've been in Hickson.
That was the one that was so bad, but
Yes.
felt. Oh.
In all the ones that you inspected, is there any other ones that are not, should not have any attendance in it?
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
I have concerns. However,
Like the one with strip lights hanging out of a ceiling, that seems a little unsafe to me.
you can't get to them unless you have a ladder. So I'm not in fear of a child climbing up there and pulling on something. Again, I'm not an electrician. That's all third party for us anyways. I will say, however, I mean, there needs to be lights there, right? Like that's the whole purpose of that being there. Does it need to be fixed? Yes. Do I consider it life safety risk for me? Not necessarily. I'm more concerned about the appliances that are being put in these units that are shocking people. That's what I'm concerned about.
What
Or
about
them
the,
falling through the
Usually for
floors.
lack of ground, isn't it?
yeah, what about the building has 4 units with the sewage running under it?
I am not going to climb in raw sewage. I'll tell you that right now. I see
Absolutely
it,
not.
I can smell it,
Does that
so
make the whole building uninhabitable?
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know if it's just that one unit that's not tied properly or if it's everybody's.
Which unit is the one not tied to C?
Yes, to my knowledge.
And just in my mind, any dwelling over that
Right.
they can't be there until it's fixed and sealed, because you're breathing that in. That's
You're living over it.
no.
Is there any of the units that do not have water?
Yes. I think it's 15. Might be 1507, maybe, and I think it might be Unit D. It's the water's not on just due to I was told that they don't have the water on because every time they have the water on, they take showers, use the bathroom. Because of the plumbing, everything just comes back up, so they just turn the water off.
So that unit.
But it
they
does
don't
have water.
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But it doesn't drain.
Now there is a unit that only has hot water. They don't have cold water. I don't really know what's going on there, but
Me neither.
I do know
It's
that.
cold to make hot.
Yeah. How's that even possible?
I don't know.
So really, to really understand this, we have to separate the exact units that are up to code and okay, have smoke detectors, proper egress, there's not padlocks on the outside of the doors, the windows are good, we get the picture. And then we need to know which ones they really shouldn't be living in, or it's a fire risk or life safety risk. And then also think about the ones that are a nuisance to the city. Do we
So-
have an idea of that?
I have a breakdown. So that's what we did when we went out there the second time.
Because it sounds like to me, it's not everybody, so condemning the whole thing is not,
No.
but we need to take care of, because the ones that have the problems will eventually cause a problem for the ones who aren't having a problem. It's just,
The thing is too, I think some of those tenants, their demeanor towards it, I think that they were kind of scared to really say anything to us due to retaliation. I'm not 100% sure, obviously, but I don't know if they for sure had smoke detectors in there. But that's life safety. You have to have it in a dwelling. So I really couldn't tell you. I mean, in all honesty, the only one that I truly feel that needs to be condemned is the 1509C. The rest of them need to be worked on immediately. But it's not enough to necessarily say, hey, I need to kick these people out because I don't feel that they're safe in there. But you need to fix it quickly.
okay,
I want to hear from them.
yes. Is there someone who can speak on behalf of who is the property owner?
Wes Williams, property owner, would like to speak, if you could, please.
Yes, please approach. Mr. Williams, does Tori have his information?
I have just their address.
If we could get contact information for a representative himself, please, for Tori. Phone, email.
This is Wesley Williams, he's the owner of the property, and I'm his dad. And, I may have to speak,
Yes. And what's your name?
Riley Williams, and I may have to speak for him.
Okay.
Some.
Good evening. My name is Wes Williams. This is my wife Keela and my dad Riley. I am mute. I use this fancy computer to speak. It reads my eyes and allows me to type on a keyboard. But I'm really slow. So if you ask me a question, my dad or wife should know the answer, but if they don't, please bear with me.
Absolutely.
A couple of years ago I came down with ALS. I have progressively got worse. I have really been distracted, learning to live and do business as a mute quadriplegic. But I have a handle on it now. Plus, a month ago, we restructured our operation. My dad is now helping me full time. Therefore, I positively assure you that we will take care of everything. This property represents my life savings. It's what I plan to leave my family. Please work with us. We will totally remodel the whole 1506 building. We will start within 3 days of them becoming vacant. We estimate a completion date of 60 to 90 days. We have already started cleaning up the outside of the entire property. We will continue until it's completely done. We estimate it to take 3 to 4 weeks. We will also start on the exterior repairs on all the 1506 building. In the past 48 hours we have started cleaning up the outside. We checked the smoke detectors in most of the units. And we should finish up tomorrow. We have a smoke detectors policy. When a unit is rented, we do a safety inspection, which includes making sure there is plenty of smoke detectors. Plus, twice a year, we send a letter and a text that says, if you need a smoke detector or batteries, just let us know. I never have understood what some people do with smoke detectors, but sometimes they disappear. We also replaced the stove and refrigerator in the one unit. We already have a contract with the extermination company. They spray every unit, every month. They tell me that the people who live really dirty, that it's impossible to totally rid them of bugs and rats. But we will keep trying. In addition to all this, we will have a zero tolerance on police calls. If the police have to visit you, you will be removed as fast as legally possible. We will also tighten up on our application process. We will be really strict on who we move in. If you talk to some of your past inspectors, you will find that we do what we say, and we are good to work with. You have my word that we are going to drastically improve this property. Thank you for letting me speak.
So, listening to what he says, when we go back here to the 60 to 90 days to complete repairs on, he's calling it 1506, is it the 1509 building?
That's one of them.
So 1506 is the overview, like I said.
That's
so,
all of them.
Yeah.
So I take it we're gonna start with the
Worst one.
1509C.
Yeah, the one that needs to be, it needs people to be moved out there so we can fix it.
Okay. So, I guess what I'm asking, when you start the repairs on a quadplex, are those people all going somewhere else and you're gonna repair the whole quadplex at one time?
We have a contract, we've already had a contractor out there. And he says that he can repair the units with, most of the units, with them living there and just working around them. But there's one that I think that they're gonna have to move out so that we can do some major work. But no, we can repair them, with them there, because there's a lot of superficial stuff, a lot of bad stuff, a lot of plumbing issues that we can do one at a time, drainage issues that we can hook up. It's just a drain has fallen off, nobody's fixed it, and it's, toilet, and that stuff. And in Wesley's defense, when he was getting out and about, he would ride by and look at them, It's hard to do now.
Yeah.
And you can't depend on people. We hire people, they don't show up. We have a maintenance man over there that's been getting paid to do stuff and not doing it. And it's just really a difficult situation. But I think we've got it rectified, because I'm gonna take over where Wesley was working and try to make it a little more seamless and a little more monitored. It is a mess.
Is the maintenance guy, he lives on site?
Yeah.
He'd be the first eviction.
And on this C unit, have they given you an adequate notice to vacate, or are y'all asking them to leave? Have they given you something in writing and you're assured that they're leaving?
Yes.
Okay. And then they're not able to retract it, obviously,
they're
that you're gonna
about-
force,
they're-
that you're gonna,
Yeah. And we're gonna have to do more due diligence on what's going on over there.
and just,
And we're gonna do that. It's gonna take us a little time to do it, but we're gonna do it. We can't, live like this. But the hardest thing is trying to find people that work. I mean, Wesley used to do a lot of the work himself. Of course, he can't now. And so we depend on people, and that's our fault, but
Right.
I guess the long and the short of it, we know we've got a big problem. We're gonna fix it.
On the 1509C, which, and I'm for condemning it now, I'll just tell you. It's not fit to live in, most of the pictures I see. When you start there and fix that one, and it's bought off by codes, it's good to go, could you not move the next person over there and then start on theirs and just put them all back in nicer places? Or are you gonna try to just fix one nice and then repair the other?
that's a good question.
Would it be possible, Wesley, to do that? He said yes.
Mm-hmm.
He can blink his eyes.
Yeah.
And if I heard him right, 60 to 90 days to complete repairs on, he said 1506, but that's
All of
26 units.
all of it.
Ain't no
Nope.
way.
90 days?
Yeah, that's only 12 weeks.
Can we give him just a second?
I ain't no hurry.
I'm doing okay.
Wrong response.
It's okay, it's okay. We appreciate you.
He's pretty fast, but
It's okay.
you're not ever as fast as you'd like to be when there's a room of people staring at you.
It's okay.
2 to 4 weeks per unit. Estimate 2 to 4 weeks per unit.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. one of the things that I found beneficial in property management was just routine, every, mid-lease term, just a visit and a walkthrough. Because people do, they throw away those smoke detectors, they start beeping, and they throw them away. And they're, and they don't treat the property like their own because it's ultimately not. And so it will deteriorate at sometimes their hand, and you're left, a year later with a major problem.
And it's amazing that people have issues that don't call them in.
Yes, that's right. And there's reasons why.
We have stoves warehoused, like stoves that don't work. All the I gotta do is call it in and we'll replace it because we've got them warehoused to replace it with. A lot of the problems we have are communication problems.
Tori, what kind of permits are gonna be required?
Well, obviously building, due to you're gonna have to rip some floors up. I don't know what the joists are looking like. I don't know. I haven't
We
really
don't know
seen much.
structurally if we have any issues.
Exactly. If we've got to do any repairs or work to the building at all, we need to go ahead and get some building permits. We can do that, and then I want plumbing permits pulled. I don't think it's gonna have to be for everyone, but I haven't gotten under there and looked at every single thing that's going on. But I think that's gonna be another one. And then electrical, if you've got an electrical contractor that can come out and test and see if it's something that, quick fix, I'm not too worried about it. But if it's something that they're gonna have to rewire, essentially, potentially an electrical permit as well.
And you can pull them permits tomorrow, correct?
Can we have somebody to work with to help us, will you help us get through that
I will.
process?
Tori she will work with you to get this corrected for the people. I mean, she'll work hand in hand and do everything she can to help you through this process, for sure.
It takes 2 to 4 weeks to evict anybody. They don't fight it. It takes longer than that
That's quick.
if they
Yeah,
fight it.
that's pretty quick.
So
Usually it takes a month or
Work
two.
around them so that we don't have to waste time trying to evict people and get them out and that kind of stuff.
That was why I was suggesting fixing the one and just move them down.
I think that's a good suggestion, because we can just move them from place to place, not have to.
If they're willing. How long is your longest resident? Do you know?
20 years. We've had people, and most of the people have been in there 20 years, 6 years, 10 years.
Surprisingly, there's not a lot of turnover. Our
They're completely
tenants
full. If somebody leaves, we could rent it tomorrow, but we have 20-year tenants there. And that's one of the things, when you have people there for such a long time, you don't think about it, you don't worry about it, you don't go over there, which we should, don't get me wrong. But, they've been there a long time. Some of them shouldn't have been there a long time. And they're not gonna be there a long time if they continue to have problems with the police.
The one unit I seen that has the bricks at the window where you can stick your hand under it, which would normally tell me that the wall is falling in this way. Is that the same unit?
That's completely different. That one is, hold on, I'll tell you.
The reason why I say that is, a lot of times on stuff like that, you have to go in and you have to gut it. You gotta take the 2x4s out. You gotta fix the wall because it's falling in. It gets into a little bit different category with codes. Is the reason why I'm asking this
Is
question.
that under a window?
Yes.
It'd be under a building.
Oh.
Yeah,
Put-
the brick veneer, yeah.
They'll put, air conditioners in, they'll put them in tilting the wrong way,
In the water.
the water come back in, rot the tube, we've replaced them time and time again with it rotted.
I would think that AC unit would be y'all's responsibility to put in.
This, but they put their own in.
Okay.
So but the structure has central heating and air? The window units are not required, that does not have central heating and air. So the only source of air are window units. Okay.
Okay.
Tori, so on the structural side of it, do you feel like you need to go out there and look at every building and just ensure that we don't have to go that route? Or are you confident that it's okay? What are your thoughts on that? Are you worried that it's not structurally sound?
No, I feel like foundation, it's strong, like
Okay.
it's solid.
Okay.
now do I feel like and it's majority of the kitchens. I don't know if it's just because there's so much traffic in and out of like, because it's kind of like an open concept in a sense. There's just so much traffic kind of going in and out. I don't know what the case is, but with that concerns me. So the floors that do have, the holes, I definitely would pull it up and kind of look at your joists and your band joists and see what's going on, if we have any rot due from water or whatever the case may be. I don't know. That's the only, I guess, structural concern is just the.
Well, if you have plumbing problems, it's gonna be in your kitchen and bath and your wet
Exactly.
areas, and that's where you're gonna have floor
Exactly.
issues, because someone's not gonna call in a leak under their sink, and then
Yeah.
6 months later, you have rot. So what are thoughts on this and revisiting?
Personally, I think you ought to condemn 1509C.
I agree. And I think they should only have permission to be able to come and get their things, because we just don't, they say they're not staying there, but we don't know.
I think it's
They're
too for
not.
their sake. Like
Yeah.
you're leaving 4 dogs in here to essentially tear up the property even more.
Are the dogs still there?
They were whenever we had to go in there. I don't know if they've gotten them out
Should
recently.
animal control, if they're not living there and the dogs are there, the dogs are ultimately abandoned.
yeah.
I mean,
So
we
the-
probably need to call animal control to get them.
Feces in the picture, that's from the dogs in the 1509C.
Oh yeah,
That's
It
in
needs to be
that
condemned.
particular one.
yeah.
And I would say the animals need to be removed.
The only reason why I didn't have them removed that day was because they were there. I find out it's like one of those things like I can't send animal services out when they're there because they're there. So it's got to be one of those things where if
Well-
I go out and these dogs are in here by themselves and that tenant's not home, I know you're not here.
I think a correction to that is have that one unit condemned, and the animals gotta go.
Exactly.
Does that still allow them to work on it, remodel it?
Yes, because they would
Okay.
have access.
Them,
This is
yes.
gonna be condemnation from habitation,
After
not,
all the permits.
yes,
Gotcha.
That will help us, if that one's condemned,
yes,
that'll help us get them out,
yes, absolutely, because they are not gonna be able to live
without
there,
having to go through the court process.
Correct.
yes,
That actually helps us.
yes.
I think he's gonna say something else.
On which one for permits tomorrow?
I would just go ahead and pull it on all.
Yeah,
Do an umbrella on it all, so that way
Yeah.
it's a one-time thing. We can cover everything under one.
Please.
That'll be the easiest way. Instead of having to do 17 different ones or whatever the case is. We can do it that way.
If y'all will work with us, we'll get it cleaned up.
Absolutely.
It'll take a little bit of time, we'll do it as fast as we can because it's our benefit too.
Mhm. Absolutely. Does anybody want to put that in a motion?
I don't have any more questions if y'all don't.
Does anybody? I don't right now. Sounds like we're gonna get started on remediation.
The only question I would have is, would Tori be able to keep us apprised of progress without them having to come back?
Yes.
Yes, I
and
agree.
okay.
I will work personally close with us
I
together.
think it's sufficient.
That and then myself and Michael Howell will do all the inspections anyways. So it's not like I won't be in contact with them. I'll monitor literally from start to finish.
Okay.
And our regular meeting is next Wednesday. So I'm kind of expecting by the time she comes back to us next Wednesday, that all the permits are pulled and we started. That's a week.
Can
I
we do
surely
that?
hope we
Can
can.
Okay, if we can get them pulled, we'll start.
Okay.
We've got a contractor ready.
And you're already cleaning up the outside,
They're
correct?
working on that now.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to get a big dumpster thing, and all that stuff.
So unless y'all got anything else,
No.
you got anything else, Tori? I'd like to make a motion, we condemn 1509C on Carwell Lane until it is repaired and brought up to codes to where it's livable again.
My tick.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, to condemn 1509C for human habitation. And then, any kind of, the occupants will be able to go through Tory to get their things, but that's the only time they can go
Shift
in.
them around so we don't have to displace anybody.
Okay. Unless we have a motion and approval.
You have a motion and a second.
Second, sorry, I
Vote it.
spoke. Yeah.
Vice Chairperson Ezell,
Yes.
Commissioner Souter,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Chairperson Davis.
Yes.
Now that we got all that resolved, when she goes through any of the other ones, if she deems fit that nobody should be in any particular one, either because of whatever the issues are with codes, I would expect another emergency meeting would come back here, and if she wants it condemned, we will condemn it. That way you don't have to have attorneys to go move them to fix the issue. But I hope we don't come down to that. I hope that we can fix these right, and then you can shuffle people around, and they can go back once you get it done if you don't want them living in that one, but at least you would have one to shuffle so you can continue on with repairs.
It speeds up the
And
process.
just stay in touch with her, and she'll do the reporting, so y'all don't have to keep coming back, and she'll let everybody know how it's going.
Thank you.
However you wanna do it, it's completely, I'm
Okay, if there's,
Mr. Williams, are you at
yes.
6001 Regal Road? Okay, that's why I want to make sure I have that.
sorry, they threw me off. How,
That's
do
office.
it, the permit,
That's the office, yeah.
and walk y'all through that, but ultimately, if you got a contractor, I'll get them sold. And it just, it's probably gonna be, since they're gonna be the ones doing it.
And we use that 1506 address.
And there she goes. She can report us back. We meet every month, second
I'm sorry,
Wednesday.
ma'am.
We meet every month, the second Wednesday, and she can just keep us updated and let you know when to come back and whatnot.
We'll probably be really in touch with her a
Yeah.
lot to get it done.
If it does,
Absolutely.
yes.
So you
I wish all the best of luck.
general contractor.
It'll get turned around.
We will.
So,
Got to.
in
Yeah.
that building,
I don't know if the maintenance man is kin to you or what that situation is, but ain't no excuse for
There's not.
him allowing that.
He lives there.
He should have come to you and told you what was going on. And,
We've
maybe
had
y'all
this-
could have done
yeah.
something different, but
We've had this conversation.
with him,
Yeah.
he would have 30 days, I'm just telling you. But anyway,
Yeah, got that long.
Sorry.
that's all off the
Okay.
record.
Anything else?
No, we're great. We'll see y'all.
Thank you for everything.
Yeah.
Get it taken care of.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, at this time, is there any correspondence from the board?